We are having a surprisingly lovely day here in Scotland, so I thought I would take today and use it as an opportunity to test out the Sennheiser MKE 400 on-camera shotgun microphone. Right now I've got the Sennheiser MKE 400 on the top of the camera, and that's what I'm going to be using while I'm walking around. But let's see if we can find a nice spot on the river where we can actually get to the water, and we'll see how the off-axis and directionality is. We have a bit of shade, lovely. So I have come to a part of the river where it's particularly loud because there's a little bit of a waterfall over there and there's some rocky bits over there, so there's noise coming from both sides. We'll turn towards this one, which is probably, I don't know, 10 meters behind me maybe. And that's definitely the louder of the two, so that's about 10 meters behind me. Can you still hear me okay? Now we'll turn the other way to the other one. This one's a little bit closer, maybe 7 or 8 meters behind me. Not quite as loud as that one, but loud enough. Naturally, one of the other things we want to test is how it picks up a voice this close at different angles as well. Obviously, the point of a microphone like this is to pick up the sound of the person standing in front of it and not people off to the side. So I'm going to do a full 360 with this camera now to see how it picks up my voice as I talk and turn this to different angles. So right now the microphone is pointed right towards me. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees to the right, your right, and now I'm at the left hand side of the microphone. I'm going to turn it another 90. Now I'm directly behind the microphone, and now we'll turn it 90 degrees the other way, and then we're going to bring it back round to the front again. So how did that sound? Another thing that I have a lot of people asking me about when it comes to microphones is how well they can pick up environment noise for things like B-roll or just background noise, so that if you move from one area to another, you've got some ambient noise that you can fade or put in the background while you're playing your other clips. So let's stick this down on the bank, point it at the river and see how it sounds. Right, I'm having to come away from the river now because the bank's coming to an end. One of the big benefits of this particular microphone and a few other microphones of a similar style that are coming out these days is that it actually can detect when your camera's turned on and off, so it turns itself on and off in order to preserve battery life. I'm 50-50 on whether I like this or not. It doesn't have a built-in battery, which is a bad thing because it's more batteries you have to worry about. But it's a good thing because internal batteries that you can't remove, well, eventually they're going to die. So how do you replace them without just buying a whole new microphone? But yeah, I'm 50-50 about the battery, although I do love that it turns itself off when you turn the camera off. There are a lot of birds out chirping today. Is the microphone picking those up, or is it not, because they're all off axis? As often seems to be the case when I'm out somewhere filming for a review and the topic shifts over to battery life, the battery in my camera dies, and apparently I forgot to pack spares. So here we are on the overhead camera where we can take a better look at the microphone itself. Here you can see I have the MKE 400 mobile kit designed specifically for vloggers and creators, which includes the microphone along with a few extra bits. So as well as the microphone, we have the Manfrotto Pixie tripod and a dead cat and an aluminium phone bracket that's really pretty sturdy, and it has a cold shoe attachment on the top for putting the microphone onto, along with TRS and TRRS cables for attaching it to either a camera or a smartphone, and we've got a little bag to put it all in. And here, of course, is the microphone. Now, you'll see that the microphone has a pretty unique design compared to most other on-camera microphones. This is because all of the suspension mounting system is inside the microphone housing rather than it being something that you mount onto a shock mount on top of your camera. This design also helps provide some basic wind protection internally. For stronger winds, you've got the fluffy dead cat, which does an excellent job of cutting out the wind, and I was using it to record all of those samples at the beginning of the video. Underneath, we have the cold shoe mount to put it on your camera hot shoe or on a phone bracket. On the front, we have the 3.5mm socket to connect the cable that sends the audio signal out to your camera or smartphone, and it's a screw lock mount to ensure that your cable isn't going to work loose and fall out. This socket automatically detects when you turn your camera on and off to preserve battery life, as I mentioned in the samples earlier. This only works with DSLRs and mirrorless cameras though, not smartphones, so be aware of that. On the opposite end, we have the cover for the battery slot, which houses a pair of AAAs. Now, the MKE 400 boasts over 100 hours of battery life on a pair of AAA batteries, and obviously this will depend on exactly which batteries you use, but the fact that it turns itself off when not in use means they're going to last for quite a while. And if they do die, it's easy to replace them on the spot and you're ready to keep going. On one side we have a headphone socket along with a volume control for the headphone loudness. This is super handy when you're going into a smartphone or a camera like this Panasonic G80 that doesn't have its own headphone socket to let you listen to exactly what the microphone's picking up. On the other side we've got the sensitivity switch, which is basically a gain and attenuator to boost or lower the signal coming out of the microphone and going into your camera. You'll want to adjust this depending on the distance your subject is from the microphone. Next to this we've got the low cut filter that you can use to remove low frequency noise and bits of wind rumble that the dead cat can't fix. And we've also got a power button. And that's the basic overview of the microphone. With the Manfrotto Pixie included in the kit, you're pretty much all set to go for vlogging with just your camera and what's in the box. The Pixie goes underneath, the microphone goes on top, and the cable goes into the microphone port. The same goes for smartphones. The Pixie screws underneath the holder, the phone goes into the holder, the microphone goes on top, and if your microphone has a headphone jack, the TRRS cable will plug straight into it. If you don't, you'll need an adapter. The microphone will mount both ways around on the bracket too, depending on whether you're filming yourself or something in front of you. And of course, to monitor it, you can always plug your headphones right into the microphone itself. So that's pretty much it for the basic overview of the kit. Be sure to check out the complete review over on DIYphotography.net, and there'll be a link to that down in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell and all the rest of it. If you have any questions about the Sennheiser MKE 400, drop them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.